All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to both of you for coming. It's nice to have you in the store for the first time. I'm going to do a quick little introduction, bios, and then I will turn it over to you. I think yours also mutes if you want to. Oh, I don't know that yours does. Sorry.
Oh,
only one of them is so fancy. So first we have Vanessa, fueled by the magic of espresso. Miami-born Vanessa Montalban channels her wanderlust for far-off worlds into writing young adult fiction. She's a first-generation graduate from the University of Central Florida and is hard at work creating a collection of stories. She's the author of Tall, Dark Trouble and These Vengeful Wishes and is represented by Madwoman Literary. And her work has also appeared in Diabolical Plots and Entropy Magazine. And then we have the lovely Gloria Muñoz. She's a Colombian-American writer, translator, and advocate for multilingual literacy. She's the author of This Is the Year, Your Biome Has Found You, and Danzerly, which won the Ambrosio Prize and the Gold Medal Florida Book Award. So thank you both for being here. I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Welcome to the Gilded Page, the cutest bookstore in Tarpon Springs.
Thank you.
Check out all their book accessories. I'm like adding them to my Christmas list. Vanessa, I'm so excited to be here with you. This has been like one of my really fun, like scary escape reads of the past few months, like escape from this reality reads. And I want to kick it off by asking you, like the hardest part here of the author's job, to give us your pitch. Pitch us your elevator pitch, okay? And I know some people might know it already, but it is good practice. And then for people online who are not familiar, it's helpful.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, it is really the hardest part of it's like writing a synopsis. Like, what the heck did I write? But These Vengeful Wishes is a retelling of the Nicaraguan folklore of La Ceiba. And for those who don't know what La Ceiba is, she is a vengeful, beautiful spirit who lures men into the woods for being cheating jerks and then petrifies them with her skeletal horse face. But this story in particular follows Ceci, teenage Ceci, who's a little depressed, and she's forced to move to a small town in Florida that's haunted by La Ceiba. And while she's there, she uncovers an underground lake that grants wishes that she soon finds out come at a very deadly cost. She has to stop it by confronting the monster that she can see herself reflected in, La Ceiba, and giving up a little bit of that control that she's finally managed to receive in her life by having these wishes come true. So she has tough choices ahead.
Awesome. Nailed it. Great pitch. Yes. So we have some horror elements in here, fantasy elements, folklore, which you touched on briefly just now, a little bit of romance in here, and then some tougher subjects like gentrification, the social divide between classes and groups of people, rage. This is definitely like a rage becomes her kind of book, which I love, and lots of family secrets and family relationships. Can you share like how you wove this all together, and if there was like a leading event, like a social or societal event that felt like it really kind of tipped into the world?
Like a specific societal event that tipped into. I mean, there's just a lot to be angry with right now in the world in general. So it was easy to channel like that rage. You came at the right time.
Yes.
But especially like for a teenager, you know, like those years are, everything feels so overwhelming. Like even the smallest remark makes it feel like the end of the world. And for someone that's not grown up in like the best environment, like that plays a role into how they learn to form relationships around love and rage and anger. And I just wanted to give her space on the page to really be angry, you know, to not like pepper it with positivity and be like, it's gonna be okay. Let her feel the full rage and let it be like, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to face that anger, to see it from all directions, and like to be in that space for a little bit. Yeah.
Was that, follow up to that, was that difficult to do, like in a world in which we love a happy ending and are kind of pushed towards like I feel sometimes very much fake or like facade of resilience? despite things being really, really challenging.
Yeah.
Was that difficult to do, or like how did you like persist in that?
I mean, my stories I think are always gonna have a little bit of a maybe not happy, but like a hopeful ending, and that's because it's true for like any life. You can find the joys and those moments and spend time in each of those moments. It doesn't mean like it's always gonna be like that. It's not always gonna be happy, sunshine, rainbows. It's not always gonna be misery. You just have to like kind of enjoy those moments as they come, and look towards the future, right? Like hope for a better tomorrow, and especially like when writing for young adults, I feel like you have to see it from a teen's perspective. You always want to give them that sense of hope, because right now they're so trapped in their home life. Like if they don't have like full body autonomy, like they can't control where they live, who takes care of them, who feeds them. So it's like they need that glance of hope that in the future they're going to decide who they surround themselves with. They're going to decide the moments that really matter in their life.
Cool. I want to get into character and setting and like Sissy's arc, like speaking of hope and transformation, but also like truly giving space for feeling on that page is like quite remarkable, and I definitely want to talk more about Sissy. But before that, is there a short excerpt you would like to read to share like a little bit of your voice with the audience?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I kind of saw the questions on the way here. So I have some marked spaces. I have no idea what's going to turn up, guys. I'm sorry. I just remember I marked something the last time. Okay, I have something for Ceci and her mom. So maybe that should come later? Or that could segue.
And what else?
I have something for Ceci and Jamie. And then I have just like general language, I think.
Let's start general language,
Okay.
if that's okay with you, and then we'll do Sissy and Mom, or Sissy and...
Sure. Okay, so I can imagine myself painting here for hours, getting lost in all the offered colors of the woods and sun. But that reminds me everything is still in the U-Haul, and this might not be home for long. No matter how magical this place seems, it's not powerful enough to keep Marina Navarrete in one place for too long. I take extra pains with my makeup, conquering a flawless wingtip and a shimmering glow of highlighted cheeks. Because like my mother says, just because you're sad doesn't mean you can't paint on a pretty face. And if there's one thing I can do well, it's put on a mask. So, so just a little slice of life.
Thank you. I love the setting so much. For those of you who haven't read the book, it's such an atmospheric, eerie, beautiful, like lush world that we're in. We're kind of like Florida, gothic, small town. But it also feels like, you know, a house you might drive in when you're like lost at night in Florida with like, I could see the Spanish moss, hear the soundscape of it. Could you talk a little bit about your inspiration for the setting? Was it inspired by a house you drove by when you were lost at night?
Oh gosh, you know, like I just love those kind of like gothic settings, the Victorian manor. And then I'm always thinking like, why can't I have that here in Florida? And I was like, yeah, I could just make it here in Florida. Like it could be a Victorian manor in the middle of the swamplands. And there's already something so like eerie about the swamps. You know, like if you go through like the Florida swamps, you see like the dilapidated houses. There's an area behind where you live. Mm-hmm. What's it called back there? by Ormond Beach. But if you go through there, like the water comes up right to the road. The Spanish moss is everywhere. There's houses that, you know, have fallen to time, you know, and disrepair. And just driving through there really like conjured up those feelings. But also reading Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno, I was like, oh, those are the vibes I want. But in Florida.
There were like some echoes too, and although it's not necessarily like a historical book, like I feel like it does have the vibes and like the coziness of a good historical read, just because of your world building. Yeah, and like despite again we have like this young, like very like modern voice.
Yeah.
But the setting has so much history and like goes like it feels haunted from the minute we pull up, like and like any good horror movie, from the minute you pull up to the house, you know something is amiss.
And they decided to stay anyway, so that's a little out of character for them.
Which I love. Like I thought that was so well done. So bravo on setting. Sissy, I really love how complex and how unafraid to be in her feelings and to, go through this journey throughout the book with La Segua. Sissy is. I would love to know how she first appeared to you. So I, and I mean that like how this character first, revealed herself.
Yeah. She really was the first thing that came into mind, like when I was brainstorming this story. Well, like our characters have a lot of pieces of us. So we infuse a lot of ourselves into it. And I grew up also moving around a lot. And that affects how you guard yourself against new relationships and how you guard yourself against people. And then you learn not to get close because you know there's inevitably a goodbye coming soon. So Ceci was kind of built with that thought process in mind as well, because she is constantly moving. Her mom is kind of like flitty. She goes from one man to another. And yeah, I mean, I based her off me. But I also... Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, it's okay. I mean, you have a perfect segue here, so maybe you were driving there. Sissy and her mom, okay?
Okay.
I love family relationships in books, and I feel like they're so different, but they have these overlaps, right? We're so resistant to becoming our mothers, and yet. Yes. And I wanted to know a little bit about that relationship and how you built it, and also where do you see like Sissy's like where do you see them going? Like I always imagine like that after kind of life, without giving too much away, for like characters, and like her mother and Sissy, like how are they like beyond this revelation, beyond this arc, living?
That's a great question. So one of my favorite things about writing is mother and daughter relationships. I love exploring it because for better or for worse, our mothers like really determine who we become and how we act and how, like what shapes us. And so coming to young adult stories as a mother myself, I took like a different perspective on it. Because now I can kind of see both sides. And I'm 36 years old. And I'm still like, how am I paying bills? Like, who gave me this responsibility? I feel like a kid. Like, what am I doing? So, and then my kids expect me to have everything figured out. I'm like, I don't know, guys. Like, you make me some food. But, so it's just, I love exploring that whole aspect of them getting to reacquaint themselves with each other, because in once you're a teenager, you're developing your own mind, you're discovering that your actions have consequences, you're really coming into yourself, your personality, and you as a person, but you're also viewing your parents in a different light, something negative or positive. And I really like exploring that whole thing of like not really forgiveness, but just kind of like understanding that the adults in our lives are also human. And of course, this is not the situation for everyone. Like, there's sometimes that you do have to cut off your own, like, family members, even if it's your mother. But I really like exploring the part of just, like, seeing each other from different angles and coming to, like, an understanding. And so I imagine that in the end, they reconciliate, and it's a really tough road to reconciliation. And it's going to be many, many years of very deep talks and lots of unpacking, but I'm here for it. Like, I love those steps because it's the parents' first time living too, right? They're human. It's their first time here on Earth. They don't know what they're doing.
Yes, I feel like also the matriarch is like so strong in this book, like the matriarchal line and like that like power of like even La Segua like being like this like almost like a past mother like incarnation, and this like repeated cycle that we live with. In the years that you're talking about putting in, it's like it could be years, it could be the next generation, the next one, and like again, it's like this book is written in a contemporary way, but again pulls from history in such a remarkable way. I do feel that with the family relationships as well.
Oh, thank you.
I have one more like book question, and then we'll do another reading excerpt, and then we'll talk more about characters.
Okay.
So I believe good books circle around questions. What questions did you set out to explore in this novel?
Ooh, okay. So when I first got inspired with writing this story, La Segua wasn't even a part of it at first.
Really?
Yeah, I had read The Monkey's Paw in college. Have you read it?
Yes.
Yeah, so like The Monkey's Paw is a haunted taxidermy monkey's paw that this couple received from India, in England, and they're so desperate. They know that there's deadly consequences to making a wish on the monkey's paw. They're so desperate to pay off their mortgage that the husband says, I wish to pay off my mortgage. The next day he dies, and the woman receives the life insurance that pays off their mortgage. Mm-hmm. So that stuck with me. Like King Midas, that's another one that always stuck with me. Like the desperation that you would need to have some bit of control, or like that the pressures that society puts on you that you would need to like make these drastic measures. Mm-hmm. I just was fascinated with that. So I started with the idea of a haunted well, a wishing well, but make it haunted. Like, so I was like, what's gonna haunt it? Where is this magic coming from? And then that's where I like started finding through La Segua. Like that's how she came in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But what was the question again?
Yeah. So like, what are the questions that like center your book? So it sounds like something around like, what are we willing to trade for?
Yes, exactly.
Money or for what we want.
Exactly. So that was like, how far are we willing to go to have some control in our life? And as you go, like you don't always set up to have with a specific theme in mind, but sometimes those themes arise, and sometimes other readers will tell you like, oh, this is what I got out of a certain scene. There's a lot of themes of gentrification, themes of like the matriarchal trauma of mother and daughter. And sometimes that's not my initial like meaning to do, like to insert, but it just naturally comes out as
yeah, which is good. I mean, I think that's what good writing does. Okay, so we're gonna move to Jamie. So I will ask you to get that excerpt ready. This book has a very swoony, tender, slow burn romance between Sissy and Jamie, which I wrote as Jaime sometimes here, but it is Jamie. I do feel like oftentimes in YA, like the love story is like at the forefront and like pushing the engine of plot.
Yeah.
And here it's feels like secondary plot line, which I do in my own work.
Yeah.
And I always find really refreshing also because I think that it would dim Sissy's life, and this is really, really like Sissy's story.
Yeah.
So I wanted to hear a little bit about like your choice there, and also hear the excerpt.
Yeah, I mean, like, I always want to put my main character first, right? It's their, like you said, it's their story, and I feel like you can't really learn how to accept love from someone until you like start learning to love yourself. As corny as that sounds,
It's true.
It's true though. Like you need to like kind of grow as a person, learn to like accept that love, like soften that heart a little so something else can come in. And Jamie was just like, he was such a perfect secondary like love interest, like the secondary character, because he was the softness to her hardness. He was like, he knew how to get around the prickly exterior, and he just showed her that like she is worth loving, and there is someone out there that's willing to care for her and to choose her and put her first, which I think was really important for her, because she always felt like she was put last by everyone else.
Yeah, he's a really, I think, quite remarkable character.
Oh,
as well.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
He was really fun to write. I love the cinnamon roll boyfriends.
Yeah.
Cinnamon roll, I couldn't remember the trope.
Yeah.
Cinnamon roll, I have a romance friend, that's what they call Roger, who's like the
romance
love
friends.
interest in my book, and they're like, it's a cinnamon roll, that's what it was.
Yes.
Like, it's a pastry, but I couldn't remember what it was.
I forgot who called. I have a new one that the love interest is super Latino, and they're like, oh, he's a churro.
Perfect. I love that.
So that's the one we could use.
Yes,
Honestly, better than
Yes.
cinnamon.
Okay, so this one, let me see. Okay, so she's asking him, they have just discovered like that the well can grant wishes. And she's asking him, like, have you thought of what you want to wish for? And he doesn't move away. Instead, he stays very still so our arms remain touching. The warmth of his skin spreads down to my feet. Sort of. His voice is gentle. I don't think I should. This catches me off guard. But we waited. Everything will be fine. There'll be no other consequences. I'm summarizing, by the way, because I want to get He says, no, it's not that. I don't know. The things I really want have to be earned. And his face tilts to mine, and we're entirely too close. His mercurial eyes changing colors like a mood ring. That's basically it. I like that he doesn't want to make a wish.
More. No, yeah. No, don't save it. Okay, so I'm going to move on to some fun lightning round questions. Okay, you ready? You stretch? Okay. All right. Weirdest thing that you Googled writing this book?
Okay. So I scared the crap out of myself. Have you ever seen The Ring?
Yes.
Okay. So when the Segua petrifies men, I was trying to envision like how do they look petrified, and then immediately what popped into my head was The Ring. You know how they're all yeah.
I won't act it out, but yes.
Yeah. So I had to re-look up what they look like and traumatize myself all over again, and I'm like, this is what I do for my art, guys. Like,
yes. Oh my gosh,
don't look it up, it's gruesome.
Yeah, so good.
What was your funnest scene to write?
So when the well first reveals that it has magic was so much fun, because Jamie is like, it's not like I can turn up at the beach with a pina colada in hand. And that's exactly what happens. Like the cavern transforms into like a paradise, and he's like holding a pina colada. He has beach shorts. Ceci, who would never be wear a floppy hat, is wearing a floppy hat. So it's just like a ridiculous little scene.
Which feels so Florida. Like, St. Augustine, like the Fountain of Youth that's there.
Yes.
And like these different like areas that we have like these little offshoots where we have like little saints and people do pilgrimages.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like so Florida, like whatever like supernatural roadside attraction.
Yeah. I feel like La Sega would have made it a killing if she started charging people to visit the cave.
Did you grow up with this legend, La Leyenda de la Segua, or is this something new that like intersected into your life as you were writing or as you were sort of exploring what could happen in the book?
So I've always been like really interested in folklore. And I've asked my mom a ton of times, like, tell me some Nicaraguan folk legends, So she had told me of La Segua, La Caretanagua, La Llorona, but they've all, like, I had a very, like, bland idea of what they were. Even La Llorona. La Llorona more because she's more popular in media. But I didn't really, like, I knew of her. I didn't know her backstory. And she has a lot of backstories. Yeah, but they're also very two-dimensional at the same time. Like she hit her mom. Her mom got angry, cursed her to be a Segua for the rest of her life. She was left at the altar because she was unbaptized and took it out on all men after that. And then there's another one that she was the Aztecs' god of rain's daughter-in-law. And he got mad at her for being a bad wife and cursed her too. So it's just like a bunch of people cursing her for like, dang, she made a mistake,
I love that about folklore, like with La Llorona and like different, I think like legends that we have, like how they morph also from culture to culture. I find that really fascinating.
And by like country to country in Central America, right? Like Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, all had such different ones. Yeah, but I love that it was like something that connected through all the countries.
I'm gonna jump up a little bit because this cover is so beautiful, like so stunning. I'm like, there will be tattoos, there will be artwork. What was the process like? How much say did you have? Because I know sometimes writers, like this little behind the scenes, don't have a lot of say. So what was that whole process like for you?
So my publisher did send me a lot of mock-ups before this one. They included me in every step. Before, when I first started writing this, I wrote it as a fantasy, not necessarily a horror. My publisher was the one that read it, and they're like, you know what? This is a little scarier than what you first intended. So I still think it leans more towards gothic fantasy than it does horror. But they wanted something that, since they changed it to horror, like they wanted something that had more of those spooky 90s vibes. And that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like a 90s, like VHS cover. And I love that.
It's so good. Honestly, it's beautiful. Like, I love just like everything about this. And
Yeah.
she's centered, her one eye, it's really stunning.
I gotta get one without like all of the word, like the lettering, and just like have a print of it. I think that would look really stunning.
Yes. Are you a pantser or plotter? And pantser, for those of you who don't know, is somebody who kind of flies by the seat of their pants and writes spontaneously as things come. Plotter is somebody who plans.
I am a reformed plotter. I've learned my lesson. And I have decided that plotting makes my life a lot easier. I used to pants all my novels, but plotting has been the way to go. Like, I can get the books out quicker. I don't have to deviate as much. The revision process is just so much nicer to me. So yeah, I'm officially converted to a plotter.
A plotter. Back to a plotter. A morning or night writer?
It could be both. Whenever my kids decide, to leave me alone.
Okay, I'll do like 2 more here and then we'll open things up. Biggest lesson that you're taking into your next book from after writing this one?
Well, okay, so this was the first book I ever plotted, ever, like from start to finish. And so I guess that's the biggest lesson, is to plot the next one and the next one. And also, like, not to be as... This one was the first one I wrote already on contract with publishing. So there's a lot of fear that goes into writing it, like, this might be too much. I know that they're going to make me take this out later. So I think for future books, like, I'm just going to let myself go a little more, without having to hold back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then figure it out later.
Awesome. Okay, what are you reading and loving?
Ooh, so your book, I am loving it. I'm almost done. I love the poetry. I love like the sister dynamic twins. I also wrote about twins,
Yes.
so I love that.
And what's next for you? Like, what are you working on?
So I sold my 3rd book. I haven't announced it yet.
Congrats.
Thanks. So it's I can't really talk much about it because I haven't announced, but like it's based off another Nicaraguan folk legend.
Amazing.
La Carreta Nagua, which is like a death. It's basically death's cart. So the comps I would think of would be Meet Joe Black meets, I don't know, something else. Mexican Gothic.
Cannot wait for that. Amazing. Okay, I'll open things up if anybody has any questions. If not, I have other questions.
I mean,
I
it's
want
really
to
done to me.
I want to know the inspiration for the well. Like, it was just such. I know you talked a little bit about setting already, but the well itself, like, it was so vividly described, where I felt like I was descending into this well. I'm like, I want to go here. Like, where is this place? Where can I go to that? Like, have you visited a well that was like the inspiration for it, or did you just concoct that from your mind?
Yeah, so we went to an underground lake
Okay.
that had that like very mysterious vibe. Like, it was a cavern, so like we had to like splunk down.
In Nicaragua or in Florida?
No, it was in Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, we went to
Oh.
Tennessee. Although there is a
Tennessee.
similar
sounds
one
awesome.
here in Florida called Devil's Den.
Oh, just okay.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Devil's-
Also,
yeah.
Did you go there? Because that also has like the cool like
I need to
it
go
has like a
there.
cenote and like it's like a big
Exactly.
like vines that come down and almost like touch the water. It's really cool.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the light and stuff.
I
It's
have
very
been begging
original.
to go. Like, I want to go so bad to visit it because I have been watching every video on it. I've watched seen all the photos and stuff. It just looks magical. I want to see like the fog rise up from the ground and stuff.
Yeah. It's cold, so bring a wetsuit.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, basically like cenotes has been, which is like the underground lakes, in a cavern, have been the inspiration. But the time that I did go to like that underground cavern, we were kind of spooked, and we had to like drive the boat out to the middle of the lake, and everyone's quiet, right? And then my daughter, she goes, "Are we gonna die?"
I love that.
And
It's
everyone-
like a kid question. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know. And everyone like that burst the bubble of like fear when had everyone started cracking up. We're like, no, we're not gonna die.
Oh my god, classic.
I have a question. Hang on, I forgot it. I wrote it down. We already went over that.
I'm just noticing that Blackbeard photo, the Blackbeard book behind you. Oh, and your shirt too.
Do you have any plans to like write adult like horror fiction in the future? Or?
Yes, I would love to. I would
Okay.
love to. Yeah, I'm hoping that. I mean, my goal was to make it this year to write my first adult,
Yeah.
but I'm also waiting on news from something else that might take up a lot more time, and it's YA.
Fair.
So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I could still do it like on the side. But yes, I would love to break into the adult space. I've read September House.
Okay.
Have you read that one?
Yeah.
I love that one so much. I
Yeah.
want something similar to that, like that they know that it's haunted and decide to just stay there anyway.
You mentioned Mexican Gothic, and I was like, if that's like the vibe, you can definitely like all spooky houses around here. I'm sure it's something you can hit.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm dying to read her new one coming out, The Bewitching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's on my top list too. So get more inspiration from there, I guess.
Yeah, I'll check that out. September House.
The September House, that one's not Silvio Moreno, but the Silvio Moreno is Bewitching. The
Yeah,
Bewitching.
the cover, yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. I can't wait.
So your next one is another folklore. So
Yeah.
will you keep doing more of those, like incorporating those into your future? Do you have plans to do more?
I think so. I think something else that I'm waiting on to hear back from. The next one that's going to come out is definitely also going to be YA horror-esque. So YA horror romance or horror... I can't say it. It just sounds horrible.
Romance?
Horror-romance.
Or just like romantasy.
Yeah.
No one's used horror romance before.
Yeah, romantasy kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit. Like
Yeah.
horror romance doesn't have the same ring to it.
Horror romance? I don't know. I feel like it could catch
I
on.
feel like it'd have a slip.
Horror fantasy.
Horror romance. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stay in this space because like this is what I grew up reading. Lois Duncan, more like paranormal stuff. You know, Lois Duncan, Christopher Pike. Those were all like my favorite stories. R.L. Stein. You know, who doesn't love R.L. Stein? Honestly, right? So then spooky. Like, go ahead.
No. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I believe Vanessa will be signing over there in the corner.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
This is
Vanessa.
wonderful.
Thank you, the Golden
Great
Grade.
question. Yeah.